got Walmart metal ready. Twitch. Welcome.
Twitch.
I usually have some, we call dub Walmart metal, some uncopywritten music. It just kind of kills the dead air in the background. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. How the F are we doing? It's been a minute. One, that's too loud. Dang, rookie stuff. Pirate Radio. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome. I don't even know what to say. Nicholas Souza, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great on this lovely Thursday, hanging out in the stream barn with Mr. Puggy, Raleigh Fingers here. How we doing, Raleigh? We're doing great. He's enjoying the sun. It was raining yesterday here, so he's enjoying the sun.
I know.
Yeah, doing good here. Happy to have our buddy from Nox Sinister here.
Mr. Sprinkles, Mr. Nathan Shapiro. What was your stage name one more time? I'm sorry.
Stage name is King Knight.
King Knight.
Which a lot of some people think it's Knight with a K, even though that's completely redundant.
Yeah.
Like I thought it would be obvious enough that it was like King Knight, as in like the king of the night. But
okay.
whatever.
Say, are you rivals with LA Knight, the wrestler? Like, is there some kind of thing going on there? Do you need to call him out? Like,
I don't. Different markets. I don't have beef with any wrestlers.
No, you know what? It's always
smart.
good to have some beefs. No press is bad press, right? So.
Yeah, that's right.
We were thinking of doing like a fake beef with Titan Skull, since we're both in the next round of Aachen.
Yeah.
Like Gershok and Frolic did their fake beef when they were in the battles.
That was great.
Yeah, it's always good and it's fun, right? Nick, I think we were gonna stage a beef with Lich King. I think that hasn't rolled out yet, but
we were gonna go as far as the last show. Not tell anybody, not tell the tour manager or the venue, and then we were gonna like start arguing in the backstage and just have a kind of a pull part, and then I was gonna go on stage. We planned this. I was like, this is total some WWF shit. All right, now you know that this is fake. Yeah. So I was gonna go up there in Chicago at Reggie's, and I was gonna go, what the fuck? While he's in the middle, while Zach's in the middle of the scene, and I was gonna shove him, and I said, you have full permission. Give me a good, not a 10 out of 10. Give me a good 8 out of 10. Just lay me out, and then have a pull away, and that'll make headlines and stuff. And Nervoso would have still had to go on that night, so it'd have been it'd have been an awkward situation.
Eat your fucking heart out, right? You know.
Oh yeah, metal sucks. Oh yeah, they would have
Blabbermouth, all those.
Yeah.
No, we had a fake beef with the Chaotix leading up to one of our Halloween shows.
That's cool.
We shot, so Clayton, the drummer for the Chaotix, shout out to the Chaotix, they're a great punk thrash band around here. He fills in for us sometimes, and we're both Charger fans, so we're really close. But we were at a Dave & Buster's watching the game, and we thought it'd be fun to go down to the arcade and film him and I competing in arcade games against each other, staging like a little beef to promote one of the shows that we were playing together.
Sick.
But that's about as far as we've gone as in creating beef.
Yeah. Well, we'll say we're faking it, and then someone will still grab it too. So never.
Bro.
So when that happens, someone came in on Twitch, Mr. Plain Old Bry, good love bug, moderator to the channel, love bug extraordinaire, coming through and throwing a sub this evening. Thank you very, very much. We haven't prepped Nathan on all the chaoticness and all the all the Jack Blacks that'll come through here, and I appreciate you again. I know some people are like, whoa, what the hell's going on? My lights start flickering, things start happening over here, but we appreciate you. Sick news of coming in here with one pocket into the other. Just getting a hype train going, just trying out here.
Yeah.
So, funny part about this, Fred at Will, thank you very much for the sub there. So, one of our old co-hosts, still our stage manager, Nick Rodriguez, the buzzer used to piss him off so much that people would purposely just sub. Bad. The second he start talking, someone drop a subscription and cuts him off, and he can't talk, and it used to get him so fucking hot. So, that's funny. But
we used to do things where we'd go around the round table and talk about, the ridiculous things, and it was towards the last couple episodes, we kind of, we got some good popularity during the COVID times and stuff. And every time people knew, it was like a joke. We were all anticipation, what, please, somebody do it. And it almost never failed. You'd be like, you know what I think about the Nintendo Switch and Dancing with the Devil. I can interrupt him, and he would get all pissed off. It was quite hilarious.
Plain O'Brien coming in here hot. He's good for that, right? So.
Yeah.
But, coming again, so our show centering around Mr. Nathan here. I met you at a Brazilian steakhouse, 2 years ago? Last year, I think, was the first time we all kicked it hard. And then...
something like that.
Yeah, I've seen you at maybe 1 or 2 shows since. One you bombed up here, and I think one maybe down there. I say up here and down there. Sorry. Californian things. I forget we're on the rest of the world right now. We're Bay Arean. I would call you LA, but I think that would upset you. You guys always go OC, bro. OC, right?
No, I'm not. No, not OC. LA.
Okay, he's
we're
an LA guy.
We're not
okay.
OC.
Okay, see,
Okay.
there's a difference.
We're not
there.
OC.
And it's like
there is a difference.
See, as a Bay Arean, it's all the same to me. So
anything past Bakersfield, it's just LA.
it's just LA.
Well,
No.
Yeah, but like, if I hadn't spent as much time in the Bay Area scene as I have, I would have rattled back with, Oakland, Berkeley, SF. It's all San Francisco, man.
Yeah, I mean, And I think we were talking
That's
about
what they think. That's what they think down here.
Yeah, it's true. Because I think when you and me were hanging out last at Death Angel, and Nick actually was playing with Violence that night, you were like, dude, I stayed in like Berkeley, and I didn't realize how much of a pain in the ass it was. Oh, y'all funny. Macho Pancho coming in here hot. Thank you, my friend. Didn't realize how much of a pain it is, like either BART over and or walk. Some of the venues are close to BART. Some are nowhere effing near BART. You know what I mean? And then like parking and then everything else that kind of has to go on from there, right? So
I got lucky with parking at the Death Angel shows, but yeah, I think the first year I was staying with Quentin, who was out in
the Yoon, I think, right?
Yeah, and then I didn't know that it was going to take me almost an hour to get to the Death Angel show. Let's go.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna mute that there for a minute. I'm sorry, Nathan. So
that's good. That's good.
You're good. Raven,
I love that
appreciate the follow. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, it's like it's very close mile wise, and it's even worse like during entertainment hours to get places. Like even during work hours, like Nick and I used to work in San Francisco and lived in an East Bay suburb. I guess we can say it now, we don't live in Castro Valley anymore, and it's. What, Nick? No traffic, a shot 30 minutes, 40 minutes tops with maybe a little bit of a bridge wait. And then, like, yeah, sometimes it's like an hour and a half as far as getting in. 2 hours getting in and out of the city every day. That's not even accounting to, like, your typical work day. And it's like, I can only imagine LA's the same thing. You guys have it, the one place that has it worse than we do, right?
Yeah, people like to purport that there's this difference or this rivalry between Bay Area and SoCal, but really we kind of go through the same thing where it takes you an ungodly amount of time to drive something that should be 3 to 5 miles.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's a burden and a curse that the Bay Area and SoCal, I mean, particularly like LA, Orange County shares, because LA, Orange County, no traffic, you're looking at about, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes, but prime traffic hours could take you like 2-3 hours. Yeah. I've even had to, drive. I've had drives from West Hollywood to Hollywood, which is, anywhere from like 2 to 5 miles, and it takes me half an hour sometimes.
Fuck, man. Yeah, it's bad. I always say it's like inhumane. You know what I mean? Petey Bob Salad coming in hot here with 1,000 fucking biddies. Appreciate you, Love Bug. Nathan, I'm sorry. I can see it in your face. It's we're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on it. I promise. I muted it for you. It's a live cast.
I understand where we're at now.
Yeah.
I haven't done this kind of appearance yet, so now I'm sort of getting what we're at.
Yeah, totally. And like I said, you are the center focus here. I appreciate all the supporters and everything that come through here and help keep the channel alive and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, again,
creating and acknowledging a community is something that I think is very important. In terms of of creating the culture of a band. You want to have. I never understood this idea that a band was above their fans. The bands obviously are propped up by their fans, but I like to acknowledge as many of our fans as possible as we're growing, because I want them to feel like, look, when we do blow up, when we do get bigger, it's not like we're gonna forget you guys that were there from the beginning. You know, I think
totally
to foster an interpersonal relationship with your fans, and there obviously is a line. There is a line between fostering the relationship with the fans, but also the mystique.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that that's a line that I think we walk quite well. I'm obviously the one who interacts with the fans most, just as the front man, and just because the guys pretty much delegated it to me anyway. Every time there's interviews or something, even at a lot of shows, sometimes they'll tell me, and this can be proven if you ask members of my band. It's not me trying to get out of moving the gear.
Yeah.
The guys will tell me, get off the stage, go to merch immediately.
It's a thing.
Because
it's totally a thing.
Yeah,
I got your back on that. Nick can concur with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the mascot. You're the face. Go sell merch. People are more inclined to buy stuff if the dude with the diamond on his head and dripping blood, who's
definitely,
who's kissing girls in the crowd, is in front of the merch booth selling it to them personally.
Totally, man, and especially with the moniker you have and the whole thing, and we'll get into exactly like what you're going for and what you're after. You and me have talked about that on personally, but yeah, like, dude, at the levels like our bands are at, like I like to say it's a spectrum, right? And I hate the word fans, really. It's like we're all friends at this point, right? And like you got some friends that are better friends than other friends, right? And it's not like I'm like pitting people against each other. And it's like, it's also like hard being a touring musician sometimes, and you want to spend time with everybody, but you're legit doing this like 14-hour job day, setting up merch table and sound checking and doing this thing. And as long as people can respect that and understand like if nothing is personal in that aspect, that like, we can, there's a full spectrum of like, in respect. And like you said, it kind of goes both ways, right? So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Metal Skulls, appreciate you coming in here hot with 11 biddies. Thank you very, very much to the channel, the support to the channel. Welcome in. I see we're getting a nice little Riot Squad in here today, man.
Riot Squad!
You guys are kicking butt. Instagram's kicking butt. TikTok, you're doing your own thing over there. Twitch is on fire right now. We were talking about TikTok. I can't say too much. Big Brother's always watching, I guess.
Yeah. See, even going to like how the Riot Squad, you guys have a name for your fans.
Yeah.
There's a mystique. There is this idea of a community, something bigger than just we're people that like these bands. Because like we call our fans the Sinister Army.
I love that. Sick.
Creating that kind of mystique and that kind of community is so important and makes people feel more inclined to want to be a part of what this band does. I have people who come to shows in Sinister makeup. I have people who have come to shows with like they put their own diamond on their forehead, they do their makeup, and when I see that, it tells me that we're going in the right direction of creating enough personability between the band and the people who support us, but also making sure that there's this mystique. There's this cult of personality about us.
Yeah, Fire at Will stole the words in the chat, stole the words like Slipknot and the Maggots. Like, it's excellent, right?
Exactly.
It makes you feel like a purpose, a part of something. ICP and the Juggalos, right? Like, maybe not the best example, but like a good example of a union and a band of people that are, a family at the end of the day, as far as what their interests are and making something fun for each themselves and everything else. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But let's start from the get-go. Like, right, we know we can get into the Battle for Vakken, and we will get into that and like your releases and everything. But like, I've always been like, I love your guys' look. I'm an X-Men fan myself, right? So I mean, I gotta go there, especially after 97 came out. I had to go rewatch the old ones as well too. And,
so did I.
Yeah, so right. Yeah, I had to go back and live the '90s dream. I think maybe pre my brother. I think that show was already done by the time he came to consciousness. I mean, we always had X-Men in the family for sure, but as far as the oldie cartoon goes, right? So, inspiration, where are you at? Why does Sinister have so many goddamn powers? Mutants usually have one or two cool powers, right? You know what I mean? So,
right.
But like, explain the concept, the idea. I love the thing, and I hate to use the word gimmick because that's like your theme, right? Like we have the face paint and the corpse paint and stuff now, so we have our own gimmick. I'm not using it as a bad word, right? But like your shtick, I like shtick better, right? So like where did that all come from? Yeah, right.
Get a little Yiddish in there.
Yeah, get a little shtick in there,
right? So the shtick is honestly a hybrid of a lot of things. Obviously, Mr. Sinister from X-Men is sort of the main piece of it. But the name Nox Sinister was originally just a pseudonym for me. It was my initials, NS.
Okay.
And
sweet.
it was because and Sinister was always my favorite villain watching the X-Men cartoons, because he just had this I hate to say aura, because it's become a part of like brain rot language, but he had this aura to him, this mystery. He was always he was always in control. He was always pulling the strings. One of the moments that drew me to the character was in the X-Men Legends game. In the second game, Apocalypse is the main villain, and at the end of the game, you fight Apocalypse, and Beast shakes off his brain, his mind control. Logan's talking to him, and Beast says, "I don't know how Apocalypse lost control of the power. The only way that the machine would have malfunctioned is if someone tampered with it." And Wolverine's just going to him, forget about it, Beast. Your machine wasn't perfect. Not like someone would have sabotaged it. X-Jet flies off, camera pans over, Mr. Sinister's standing on the pyramid laughing his ass off.
Nice. Okay.
So that was one of my first exposures to the character, where I thought, here's this guy that does whatever he needs to suit his mission. He'll work with whoever. He'll pretend like he's a supplicant, but really he's got his own goal going on. And this idea of a character that was obsessed with his mission, obsessed with this idea of creating the perfect mutant being to control, this idea of creating absolute power and being in control of that absolute power. Villains with an obsession like that are so fascinating to me. Never mind the fact that Mr. Sinister's name is Nathaniel.
I did. Okay,
so
I didn't know that. That's like all these mirror images and symmetry that's happening right now. I'm feeling it.
I felt like there was a symmetry between me and him that started with the name, but as I kept watching the character and paying attention to the character, I noticed that there was a lot obviously exaggerated. This idea of control, this idea of lurking in the shadows, eventually wanting to reveal yourself as the mastermind. Obviously there was all that, and there was also the aspect of him where it's like he looks like a fucking vampire.
Yeah.
He looks metal as shit.
He doesn't look like your typical mutant. Like the other mutants are like, we're humans, but like, Magneto's a little more done up, but he's really just wearing an armored helmet and some, whatever iteration of him you're looking at, but yeah, he's like kind of that next level compared to all the other mutants that I can think of on the top of my head right now,
Yeah, and when it came time to because originally Nox Sinister was a solo thing, and I worked with other musicians. I worked with the first batch of Nox Sinister material, which I'm not even sure is anywhere at this point. I collaborated with this guy who I met when I was in elementary school, and I came to him after a while. I hadn't done music since the end of high school. I was already midway through college. I said, "Hey man, I don't know if you remember me, but I'm doing I'm trying to put a metal project together." He sends me a full 9-minute instrumental.
Nice.
And he had like a verse and a chorus to it, and I just expanded on it, did a lot because he called it Tomb of St. George, so I wanted to obviously operate within the framework that he had already put down. I did a lot of mythological research, and I came up with this idea of all right, what if the myth of St. George was inverted? Because St. George in a lot of English mythology was the famed saint who slayed the dragon. So I thought, well, what if I came up with this song about a bunch of cultists who break into his tomb, place a curse on his bones, and then he becomes this half man, half dragon creature. But
killer.
When I was coming up with the name Nox Sinister, Nox, obviously, it's Latin for night. It was my nickname on the wrestling team in high school.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And Sinister, I was like, well, Nathaniel Essex has part of my name. I'm gonna take part of his.
That's cool.
And
nice.
That was the impetus for choosing the name Sinister. And as we kept forming the band, because I didn't start wearing the diamond until the second year of the band, I wanted it to be an amalgamation of just a whole bunch of different fun mythology, because that's really what is at the core of the band, is this idea of mythology, not specific to in terms of Greek or Norse or gods, but mythology is in the idea of just storytelling. So Sinister was obviously part of it. I wanted to pay tribute to him, and obviously it's good for marketing. But there's also this aspect of there's also this aspect of a medieval cult in the way that we dress and the way that we present ourselves.
Knocking?
No, I don't think Disney's gonna come and knock.
We had to worry about that because the first Hatriot image was a shield, but it had one star on it, right? But it very much looked like a certain shield that we all know very well. So
yeah. But fortunately, the illusions are not too obvious.
Yeah,
it's
an homage. It's not a
diamond's
rip. Yeah.
Yeah. A diamond's a common enough symbol. Sinister is just Sinister is a word
right,
that anyone can use. But it's funny because cast members from X-Men '97 have seen us and know who we are.
Oh, that's cool.
The voice actor for Rogue was at one of our last shows.
Oh, really?
So she came to the show and she sent the footage to Mr. Sinister's voice actor, and then we got a message from him the next day. So a lot of the people who are involved in X-Men '97, they know about us. So
I guess being down in that hot LA scene, that's got to be good for you, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, Rogue's a fan. Rogue's now a member of the Sinister Army, and Chris Britton, Mr. Sinister himself, he's in Canada at the moment, but he wanted to set up a meeting when he comes back to LA. So some of the X-Men are very aware of us.
Super sick. Got me giddy, legit. I mean, like I said, me and my wife are huge X-Men people. I mean, Nick, my family, the whole family, right? Yeah, it's so super. I think it's sick. Yeah. The new season was amazing. Sinister was not in the new season, was he?
Yeah, he was. He was the main. He was like him and Bastion were the main villains.
You're right. Because that. I remember now. Because Magneto was on the good side currently. I know he kind of flip flops and tangles back and forth, right? I mean, I need to rewatch the season. So.
I'm gonna be honest. Thank the gods for X-Men '97 because it was such a good. Yeah. It was such a good marketing. Now, I'm not gonna say ploy, but it was good for marketing because the show was popular, and as I was meeting new people. Because I was going to all these, all these watch parties. Shout out to Uncanny Experience and for hosting the watch parties at Scum and Villainy Cantina here in LA. But I was meeting a lot of people.
Cantina. I love the Star Wars.
It's a bar. The bar looks like the cantina.
Oh, sick!
It looks exactly like
this needs to.
You guys gotta go.
Okay,
next time you guys come down to LA, I'm taking you to Scum and Villainy because it's a bar that's modeled exactly like the Star Wars cantina.
We're there.
Love it.
But they were hosting all these watch parties there. Obviously, I was meeting X-Men fans. I was meeting people, and as I would do, I would hand him a card, and I would hand him a card, be like, hey, yeah, we're in a Mr. Sinister themed metal band. Come check us out. I have a stack of these that I always carry on me, and I made some good friends. I had some people come to the shows, become fans because of that. And so I'm thankful for X-Men '97 for bringing all the mutants out in public.
I love that.
And getting drumming up a little more interest in the project by way of saying, yeah, it's inspired by Mr. Sinister. We got a lot of the imagery is an homage to him, but a lot of it is also just pieced together from different kinds of mythologies that I like. A lot of it's medieval.
Yeah.
Though in the way that Ghost is a church, we're a medieval court. That's what we've.
That's a cool
set up.
Picture you're painting. Yeah. Totally. And even looking at some of your artwork, before the cast and just knowing you guys as a band, it all kind of makes sense,
Yeah. The band's about storytelling. At its core, the band is all about storytelling. So that's why the lyrics are about. I've written songs about Mr. Sinister himself. The song Dominion. On our debut is about Mr. Sinister. It's about the most recent Sins of Sinister storyline, and then some of our early demo stuff was about Shakespeare. And then one of the songs on Night Terror is also about Shakespeare. But a lot of it is just about stories that inspire me to either. And I have this thing where I won't if I'm inspired by something. But many bands have already more or less written a song about that concept or done it to death, then I won't do it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Alexander the Great. I think he's one of the greatest human beings that ever walked the earth, greatest military commander in human history.
Yeah.
I will never write a song about Alexander the Great because Iron Maiden already did it and they did it perfectly. There's no need.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, see, and like, there's, like you said, if someone's already done it, like, there's always an opportunity for you to tell something else. It's like being in a heavy metal band lately. It's been hard because it's like songs about gonna kick your ass and songs I'm gonna kill you and stuff, right? Like our most recent single, Forest of Illusion, literally was about the Mario Zone, the Forest of Illusion, but I kind of twisted it to where it kind of meets World of Warcraft's Lich King. To where it's like not the band Lich King, like the anyways, it's like it's this forest that takes you over, but like if you can command the forest, you are then you are now the evil entity that runs the forest, and that's what the song was about, more or so less. But like I loved the Mario level, how there was 4 exits to that map, and if you didn't do the right one, you had to do it again. So it's like the lyrics like voices in my head say go the other way, the canopy now claims me forsaken away, and it's like, oh man, like it's such a nerdy concept, but just to make it heavy metal like that, and like it's just like something that wasn't sang about before, I don't know. I feel you on that,
No, because there's such an By the way, before we get off the topic, I got Larry Houston, the producer for X-Men '97 and director of the original run of the show. He drew this for me at a signing on this blank variant. So
oh shit, that's a blank variant. He drew that for you on the front.
It's a blank variant. It's a blank variant. He drew
that
it
up.
on me.
That's
so
sick, dude.
It's a one of one. I would angle the camera to my Sinister shrine, but it's above my desk, and I don't want to knock over
it's
my
all
setup.
Good. All my Star Wars stuff is behind the camera too. I totally get you for sure. So.
I think I have the largest Mr. Sinister collection that exists. No one has.
I'll second that.
Yeah, no one has debated me on it. Nobody has proven me wrong, but I do think I have amassed the most concentrated collection of Mr. Sinister items. But yeah, no, like exactly, like people think that nerdy interests in heavy metal don't intersect, and I think that couldn't be further from the truth. People ask, "Oh, what do you write songs about?" And the majority of the time, I just say, "Well, I'm obsessed with Shakespeare, man." A lot of our songs are either, about Shakespeare directly or have Shakespearean allusion. Like, fucking March of the Tyrant. The chorus is literally "Hear the Song of the Devil's Choir," played before a Muse of Fire. I stole Muse of Fire right from Henry V.
Okay.
And sure. I think that why I love this art of heavy metal so much is that it's a kind of music that's larger than life, and I think that it allows you to write songs about these concepts that are larger than life. And I don't think I'll ever. I mean, in my early days, of course, I wrote songs, and we had songs about like, oh yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you. But I can't be moved to write a song like that anymore, because as the band has evolved and as I've evolved as a songwriter, I don't want to write a song that doesn't tell a story.
Makes sense.
And I think that every song that we write now is the way that I view Nox Sinister and the way that I view a lot of my favorite heavy metal acts is that it's high concept storytelling. And with Night Terrors, our debut, the way that I think of that album is that I think of it as a pulp horror magazine. And the reason that it's called Night Terrors is that I feel like the title meets the two ends of the spectrum of the concepts on that record, which is medieval concepts and then horror concepts and then some songs where they meet in the middle. Like Curse of the Azure Knight is the centerpiece of that album to me, because it is the synthesis of what the album title was. It's about a cursed, it's about a cursed demon knight. It's about Nightmare from Soul Calibur. That's what the song's about.
Okay, cool. Yeah, one of the more brutal looking characters in the game, right? Yeah. So
my main in that game, every iteration of that game,
his big ass sword and he's the one with the eyeball, right? And the eyeball would like be his shoulder, like totally.
Yep.
I totally remember him.
People don't know that at first, but if you really pay attention to the lyrics, I'm like, dude, this song's just straight up about a fighting game character. But I also use that song to, I'm either straight telling a story, telling something personal, or both. Okay. Or a lot of Night Terrors is using these stories that I'm inspired by to express something personal.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Curse Curse of the Azure Knight, that's about Nightmare from Soul Calibur. Like, not even, no bullshit about that.
Nice.
But also the way that I'm talking about how Soul Edge whispers to Siegfried, how the voices in his head are compelling him to, to become this, this demon creature of violence. It's also speaking to sometimes how I feel about when my anger takes over, or this complicated relationship that I've sort of crafted with my onstage persona. King Knight, I feel like, is sometimes it's a weird way to talk. It's a weird way to talk about him, but sometimes I do say, yeah, he's kind of got a mind of his own. Sometimes it's his voice in my head. Sometimes he has, sometimes he has control over the body that we both more or less share.
Yeah.
And so that's, and this idea of, did I breathe too much life into this idea that there's the onstage persona and then there's me.
Yeah.
So that can be what Curse of the Azure Knight is about. And I don't know if I've ever disclosed that, but that's part of how the song was written, and part of how the next batch of songs for the next album that we're working on was written. Was there are some songs on there where I look back at the lyrics and I just go, was this the movie that I was writing this about, or was this me? I can't tell anymore.
It just starts to blur the lines in there, right? And like,
that's good.
Especially that being that creative and everything,
Yeah, no, as being a big wrestling fan, huge my whole life. So I love when people blur the lines with their character, and especially like the modern day wrestling with social media, kayfabe's a little dead. So the clever ways they've been able to blur the lines between reality and fiction has just been fucking just magical lately. I don't know if you're a fan of wrestling or not, but like, with The Rock coming back and John Cena turning heel. There's a lot of great storytelling right now in wrestling. So I love that. Metal isn't as big as wrestling, but I love that if you take that same energy and put it back into your own characters. Like, oh yeah, I have this backstory. I'm this. When I put on the makeup, or when I put on that mask or the gloves or whatever it is, I'm this guy now, and I feel that way sometimes when I put on the makeup and stuff. It's like, we're going to war, boys.
Yeah.
I'll dump a whole fucking water bottle on my head, be soaking, sopping wet.
Yeah.
Let's go to war, and let's go fucking give them an awesome show,
I was wondering how you were going to handle
that
that, too. Yeah, sorry, Nate. I was just wondering how you're going to handle that, because I know you do have an on-stage persona, and like I guess I do as well, too, but not nearly as, like, I would say, as drastic and sinister, using words there, as your character, right? So it's like, it's weird, like the guy you meet at the merch booth, I don't know, do you break when you come off stage? Like, people that talk to me after show or merch booth or whatever, you're gonna get the bubbly Cody, what's up, how are you? But like on stage, it's like, what the fuck is good? Like you just kind of like have to hold your, I don't know, where's your drawing the line at that?
The line blurs. It depends on how it depends on how I feel after any given show. Of course, when I'm talking to like my friends and the people that I know personally, I break a little more. But for the fans, I kind of keep that like. For the fans, I kind of keep that act up a little bit because they like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a good time. The King, when he gets off stage, I mean, he's kind of got this look in his eye as if he's about to cause trouble. He's flirty as all hell.
Yeah.
Which is like.
You were mentioning that earlier. You're saying kissing girls in the crowd and stuff. Like, please, do tell. Do kiss and tell.
Well, I mean, it's like they always like. It's usually they ask.
Yeah.
Like there are girls.
Cool,
they're like. They know, like there are girls that like they know that I do it. I've made a habit of doing it.
Nice.
And sometimes at certain points at certain points where I've done it, it's been like one of my girlfriends or one of my partners, and then sometimes I've had it requested. So I think that like there is that. You have fun with it. The rock star, because people want that kind of excitement. People want that kind of rock star mystique, and I'm not like the we like to pull from different kinds. We like to pull from different kinds of of metal.
Yeah.
That's the you know the flirty rock star, you know, persona. That's what I mean, you know, I pull that from the glam bands.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And but it's, you know, obviously it's always respectful, it's always agreed upon, it's always understood.
Yeah.
Um,
X from Gershok says, "What's up in the chat?"
Yo, X. What's good?
We're talking about personalities. Uncle Tim over here plays in a band called Creepo. He's Tim on stage, Tim off stage. He's told me many times, I don't give a fuck. I just do my thing, and hey, that's cool too, man. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, you know, kissing girls in the audience. It's fun. People are, you know, people are. It draws people in. People are allured by it. People are allured by seeing it, and obviously everybody that takes part in it consents or requests it beforehand.
Yeah.
But, it's, you know, it's sometimes part of the blood ritual that we do, where it's like, I drink blood on stage. I'll dip my fingers in it.
Yeah.
It's always fun. And then I'll draw a red diamond on people's foreheads. But, you know, as I've started, sometimes when I've had like my partners in the crowd, you know, they'll just plant one on me, and then I kind of just started doing it.
I was gonna say, does this get you in trouble? But as long as it's my alter ego, it's not me, right? It's Clark Kent to Superman right now. You're good to go, right? No, I'm just teasing. So
I mean, it's always understood. I've had multiple partners at one show, and then, you know, I kissed both of them.
There you go. Get it? That's killer. Love it, man. Excellent. Well, you were talking about March of the Tyrant. We got some people in here rocking out with us. I see Vo Escobar showing some kisses over on Instagram. I see we got Justin Lamb up in here. What's cracking, brother? How are you? Yeah, everyone's coming through. Everyone's enjoying it. You want to jam a song for everybody real quick?
Oh, for sure.
Hell yeah, man. So we've been talking about Mr. Nathan with Mr. Nathan Shapiro here, Mr. Sinister. And we're going to get in one of their songs right now. Guys, definitely, if you guys haven't, get on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever we can. Definitely follow Knock Sinister, killer band down in the LA area. Making sure not to say OC or SoCal or they're knocking it. We'll go into this, and then, we'll talk about the Battle for Vakken and where the band currently sits and everything. And then we'll get into your personal life and keep going from there. But everybody, feel free to please tear up the digital mosh pit. Let's get this shit going. And let's jam. This is March of the Tyrant by Knock Sinister.
Oh, you know what? Actually,
what's up?
I think you can play the Crimson Mirror. We have a music video for, so you can play the music video for Crimson Mirror, because there's a little more visual for that.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to change the song to Crimson Mirror?
Yeah, because like, I mean, I guess I see you got the video pulled up. There's like if there's a song that actually has a music video that we can pull up, that'd probably be better, honestly.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool.
Streamer choice, man. Sorry, I'm a terrible typer, especially when I'm on stream. I'm like looking and stuff, and going to your guys' page right now.
Real
I would
quick,
say,
what does King Knight like to eat?
Thai food.
Thai food.
Okay.
Thai food. After every show, it's fucking Thai food. There's a 24-hour Thai food joint around here. After every show, it's the go-to. It's the miracle. The miracle cure.
Is
Love
it
me some
on?
Ever.
What was the song again? I'm not seeing it on YouTube. Sorry, this is terrible.
Crimson Mirror. It's the one music video that we have there.
I'm just seeing songs right now off the Knock Sinister page, right?
Yeah, we have an actual. I think we have an actual YouTube channel. If you go to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm on the YouTube channel now.
Yeah, let me link you.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, here we go. Knock Sinister, Crimson Mirror. Gotcha. Yep. I found it now. It was being DP Seal for no reason. All right, guys. I lied earlier. Crimson Mirror by Knock Sinister. We'll get you guys a visual. I'll bring it up here in a second, and we'll go from there, man.
Hell yeah.
We shot that in a day.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we shot that in a day.
Some tappies. Oh. Want some jam cats in here? Let's go.
yourself die!
Bro, Brutes Magoots to the Boodles. I love that.
Oh, look at
Thanks. That's
Oh, sorry. Yeah, continue.
that's my best friend Dante Paris in the video.
Yeah.
He actually helped produce the first couple of Nox Sinister tracks when we
Nice.
were just getting started.
It almost felt like
And,
directed there, like with the lights in the background and the angles.
It was.
And like, I mean, totally. Like there was second level thought there. It was very freaking awesome, man. I enjoyed it. It was the song was excellent. Like, you know.
Yeah, we had a whole crew produce help us produce that. With shouts out Dan Massa, Jake Johnston, Meg Colburn, Anna Hilderman, Will Chaplin, like every Isabel Mussolini, like God, I'm probably forgetting so many people, but we had a whole production with that, because when we decided we're doing our debut album, we're doing our debut studio album, we've had all kinds of like demo material out for before Night Terrors dropped.
Yeah.
And Carlos Cruz, who produced Night Terrors, shouts out Warbringer and Nails and literally everything else that he's
Yeah,
in.
definitely. Good buddy of ours as well too. Yeah, dude's an animal.
But
He's about it.
He was telling us that when you're a band as theatrical as we are, when you're a band that's so much about imagery, you want to give it the whole 9 yards. You want to give it you want to commit everything that you can to looking the part, looking professional. Oh, Talia Rainier, that's another one who was on the project.
Shout out. Sorry, I couldn't remember all the names. They definitely do the credit. There's a lot of people behind the scenes on everything. Luckily it was a small crew. It was a small crew, but I want to credit everybody that was involved in that, because they did such a great job.
But we wanted to have it professionally produced, and we were on a time crunch, with the release timeline. But we really wanted to. So I had a conversation with the director for that video. He said, "What are you going for?" I said, "Here's a song. Have you ever seen the movie Infinity Pool?" And he said, "I know exactly what you want."
Nice.
Because he had seen it and he loved it too. Actually, yeah, I got the poster for it right there. It's one of my favorite movies. But I saw the movie Infinity Pool, directed by Brandon Cronenberg, David Cronenberg's son.
I'll have to check it out.
I saw that movie and instantly I was just inspired to I wrote the lyrics. I wrote the lyrics for that song while I was viewing it for the first time. I didn't write them down, but I had them in my head the entire time. And the second the movie ended, there was a Q&A with Cronenberg. I went up to him. I said, "I'm writing a song about this movie." And then the day that we laid down the guitars for it, there was a double feature screening at the Arrow in Santa Monica, which was Possessor and Infinity Pool, both of his films. I went up to him. I said, "Hey, last time I went to one of your Q&As, I said that I was writing a song about this movie." He said, "Oh yeah, I remember. How is it?" And I just said, "We just laid down the guitars today."
Nice.
But that's a movie that I really loved because it asked these kind of questions of, how far do you go in sort of becoming your more baser, more carnal, more animalistic self once you realize that the boundaries of morality no longer apply to you.
Yeah.
If you reach a point where you feel like you can escape the consequences of immoral action, how far do you go? How much further do you sink? And do you have the ability to murder the part of yourself that feels shame? So that's the main idea behind the song and behind the film.
Killer.
And we just one of my favorite songs that we've written. It's been a staple of the live set.
Yeah.
It opens every show now, and shouts out to our friend Danny Madnick who helped compose that song originally. He wrote one of the main riffs of that song. So shouts out Danny, thank you.
It's sick, man. There's so many peeling the layers back. That is Mr. Nathan. You know what I mean? It's so deep in so many levels, but like that's the beautiful thing about art, right? Even music as an art, So I think that's so fucking cool that all these things inspire you and how many different things you combine together and all your interests from Shakespeare to X-Men to movies you enjoy and like, dude, it's freaking killer,
I may look like a cool heavy metal singer, but really I'm just a nerd with a decent voice.
I think we all are.
We all are.
Yeah. I literally have all of my tattoos.
Surprise.
Yeah. All of my tattoos are either Star Wars, like a 90s cartoon, or like video games,
Yeah.
and like it's just like I am perma 16, man. Like I don't have children. Like that's my life. It just is what it is, right?
Everything's just like my whole apartment is just a monument to all my weird niche interests.
Yeah.
Like I got that. I don't know if you can see it, but I got the axe from the movie Mandy hanging up right there.
Okay,
next
I
to
see
it.
the axe. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we bring that out on stage. People love it.
Nice, man. So, we were talking to you last NAMM, January. It's not too long ago. You were getting ready for the Battle for Vakken, and you guys hit the Battle for Vakken, a few weeks ago now? And how's it far in between battles?
2 weeks.
You guys took
2
it,
weeks,
right?
yeah.
You guys.
Yeah. Highest score of the night, which we're very proud of. Obviously, you don't take that kind of stuff for granted. We pour everything into our performance. We don't walk into. We don't take anything for granted. We don't get this overconfidence about ourselves, even though we went pretty far last year. But for us, still, like, nothing's ever a given. Any given Sunday, you learn that from watching football.
Oh, for sure, man. Totally.
But we're very proud of how far we've gotten, and we've upgraded the show since our last battle. And we've got the next one in a couple of weeks, trying to drum up the promotion, trying to drum up the excitement, get people out there, get ourselves to. We want to at least make it back to where we were last year, West Coasters, and hell, man, if we can take nationals, that's. I mean, we want it all. We're not stopping. We want it all.
Nice, man.
But we're, it's one battle at a time.
Yeah.
You lose sight of
Yeah.
You lose sight of what's in front of you. You lose sight of the war.
Definitely, man. Just go up there, do you
Right.
guys' thing, do what you do, like you said last year. Obviously, just keep growing, moving forward, more determination and everything else. And that, dude, and you know, you did excellent then as well too. X from Gershok's asking if you wanted to tease what he's got cooking with them, or if we're gonna keep that.
Oh,
under
yeah.
wraps right now.
I was when when X entered the chat, I wanted to say something, but I wasn't sure if I was allowed to. But
Seems like he brought it up, so.
Well, if he brought it up, then I'll bring it up. I am doing guest vocals on Gershok's next album.
Oh, sick, man.
Oh shit.
They've
Hell
got
yeah.
this really cool sci-fi concept album brewing, and I was lucky enough to get to do guest vocals on as one of the villains in their metal opera. It's pretty fucking sick. I'm
Dude.
really excited.
Excited for that. And then, like, you know, the few songs I listened to, like, before the cast itself, choosing what song to choose, and hearing you guys in the past, your vocal range from, like, the seriousness to, like, the metal style vocals and stuff, like, who are some vocal influences on you, I'd have to ask? Like,
Man.
you're right. Like your range is like all over the place with like your like theatrical, like opera-esque kind of like, you know, singing, and then yours, you know, you'll belt out there with the metal screams and shit too. So I mean, where's the spectrum at on that?
Thanks, Mr. Hulls, for the 1 year of choir in high school.
Nice.
Mr. Hulls.
Shout out, Mr.
But I was-
Hulls.
I was well. I mean, I was I was a theater kid, so I did a lot of musical theater. I did a lot of conditioning and training my voice to handle all these different extremes.
Nice.
But in terms of in terms of inspiration, number one, I would have to say Serj Tankian from System of a Down. He was right there from the beginning. I basically was copying him when I was growing up learning to sing, and I didn't notice it at first. Because I guess to me, it was so ingrained, and it was such a given that he was, one of the top influences that I have. I remember when we were in the studio, particularly doing the lyrics on Inferno. I finished laying down the clean vocals for that, and Eric, our guitarist, is like, "We get it. You like System of a Down." And then Carlos heard that, and he's like, "Why don't you do some Darren harmonies on some of those lyrics?" So Serj is a given. There's also a little bit of Matt Heafy in there from Trivium. Trivium is one of my favorite bands of all time. They're a band that I really admire, especially Matt as a vocalist. So that's so versatile.
Yeah.
Mark Osegueda from Death Angel. In terms of every part of my voice is influenced by different metal vocalists. So like the thrashy, rougher vocals, that's Mark from Death Angel, John from Warbringer. Collectively you get a little bit of, if you put it all together, you get Serj and Matt from Trivium. And then one that not a lot of people know, Jorn Land, who is, part-time in Avantasia, and he's in Jorn, and he did his own little concept record, Dracula Swing of Death. But Jorn Land is a big one, as kind of walking the line between that theatrical melody, but also that aggression, that poise, if you will, in his voice. Another one I'll probably throw out, David Draymond, Disturbed. I grew up listening to a lot of Disturbed.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Draymond had this gravitas to his voice where he enunciated and projected to the level of of a very theatrical, clean singer, but it had this edge, it had this gruffness. So those are a lot of the singers that I would say inspire me vocally. This idea of wanting to be bellowing and almost scary. Yeah. Almost everything about me is a contradiction, and I like that to also appear in the way that I sing, where it's very distinct, it's very resonant, but it's also very aggressive. I would say those kind of singers are more or less the blueprint for what I modeled my voice after.
Definitely, man. That's killer, man, for sure. Nice mix of people in there, all different ranges and different styles and stuff. It was, as a kid, I always loved System. Don't hate me for this, but like the ADHD style of like random lyrics and stuff. And I had ADHD, and I still do very bad as a human being. But like, it took me a while to get onto it. You know what I mean? Like the the Mr. Bungle style, kind of like, you know, all over the frickin' place, but like it fits in it and it works nice. You know what I mean? So,
I think that was what drew me to it, is that no other band sounded like System. I remember when you know what's funny is that the guy who introduced me to System of a Down probably doesn't even fucking remember it. And it was one of the most significant days of my life.
Yeah.
And when my parents got me the CD when I turned 13. Like, they got me Toxicity and
Nice.
and the debut, and I've had these ever since I was 13.
Killer, dude.
Serge, John, and Darren signed this, and then I have yet to get Chavo's signature in it, and then Darren and Serge signed this, which was my first System of a Down concert ticket.
That's so cool, dude. Did you care for Serge's? Oh, sorry, Nick, go for it.
Oh no. I have a random question for you. So
Sure.
I posted this on my Facebook and it got a lot of debates stirring up. This is 2 or 3 years ago. So here's my question: if System of a Down wouldn't have taken that break, that big long break, do you think perhaps they could have been as big as Metallica?
Do you want to make that even more controversy? Bigger than Slipknot.
Bigger than Slipknot for sure, but Slipknot took a lot of breaks too. They would just take long periods in between albums. But if System of a Down, after their double album or releasing 2 albums in 1 year, pretty much, after they wouldn't have they still haven't released an album. They've released a couple songs, but not an album.
2 singles, yeah.
2 singles.
Yeah.
Do you think if they would have consistently toured, opened up opportunities for younger bands, do you think they would have been as big as Metallica? It stirred up a lot of debate on my Facebook, and it was a lot of the old heads infiltrated it, and absolutely not. Don't ever talk about Metallica like that. That's their baby. Don't ever fucking question Metallica.
Yeah.
You know, so I am in the belief of definitely they wrote hits. Every album had hits, not just songs, but hits.
Yeah. In theory, it was possible.
Right.
But if you know because I've read Serge's book.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what the band was going through at the time they took the hiatus, the hiatus was necessary, I think, for them staying friends and being able to play together now. Sure. If they had stayed together, according to Serge in his book, and if I'm misinterpreting or misquoting him, he can, Serge, I'm sorry, but
he's one of the people that are in here. No, I'm kidding. Go.
Yeah.
Man, I wish. I've actually spoken to him many. I've spoken to him many times. Exchanged
awesome.
conversations with him a lot. He knows who I am. He has an Ox CD.
Very cool.
But the thing about Serge is that what I've read from his book is that he felt he was stagnating around the time that they took their hiatus. So I don't think that the product would have been enough to keep them going if they hadn't taken that hiatus, or it would have been sort of forcing them, and they would have they might have just broken up completely, not taken a hiatus and not gotten back together.
Yeah.
In theory, if the train kept running, I think potentially they could have been.
And it ran smoothly, right? And there was no issues, right? And no turmoil within the band, and they kept on going that trajectory. Because I mean, my argument for that is you have people, that I know. My girlfriend now, she's into metal and stuff, but wasn't growing up necessarily. And there's a lot of people that weren't into metal growing up that know System of a Down and no System of a Down songs.
Yeah.
Which
they breached the metal fan bubble, right? They were bigger than metal for sure. Yeah.
And with the
they
long
were on Live
hiatus,
105, like alternative radio and stuff. Like, yeah, totally.
System has bigger crowds than most bands I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the thing about System is, and why I admire them so much, is that they're able to do something. You can't pin them down. You cannot confine them to a subgenre of metal. You cannot imitate them. You cannot. No band is System. The thing of their music is that it is so innovative and just unreplicatable I think if they had, if they had kept going, if there was no turmoil, if there was that, and I'm not blaming any one of any one of them for taking a break. Like, it happens.
Yeah.
Artists artists can sometimes feel like they're stagnating in some way or another, and it wasn't. If I would recommend reading Serge's book. He talks about it at length. But I think that if the hiatus hadn't happened, System wouldn't be together even as they are now. If they kept going with theoretically, if they kept going and kept making albums, I think they could have. They could have outproduced a lot of. But also you have to factor in where the counterculture was at the time, because I think for the length that the counterculture that Metallica grew up in, it either had seniority or outlasted the nu metal era. And I love the nu metal era because, and I don't even like I don't even listen to that as many bands from the era. Obviously, I grew up a nu metal kid. I grew up at the tail of it, the generation that I grew up in. The nu metal era had a fascinating phenomenon where the counterculture got to break into the mainstream culture. And if that lasted longer, then I think if that, a combination of factors, if the nu metal counterculture reaching the mainstream lasted longer, and if System kept making albums, I definitely think that they could have been bigger. They're already huge. They're already one of the greatest metal bands of all time.
Right.
They're one of the biggest metal bands of the modern era.
Right.
If the nu metal counterculture movement had kept steady, which I wish it did, because I really don't feel like that's one of the problems that I feel like that this generation of metal doesn't have. It doesn't have an active, I mean, obviously there's a counterculture. There will always be counterculture, but it doesn't have as pervasive a counterculture as the nu metal era had.
Yeah.
Right now, it definitely doesn't. Yeah.
It does, because I think for counterculture to be effective, part of it has to go somewhat mainstream. And when you had the Ozfest era, you had this aspect of the mainstream that the nu metal and even just the heavy metal counterculture was breaching.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think it.
There's articles
I don't
in the
think
newspaper.
it exists as much anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's articles in the newspaper of what Ozfest lineup was. It would be like a quarter page, for example, right? And so even the plebeians of the world would know and read and see logos and names, and like you said, that's almost gone now, right?
It's almost gone, and even in the 80s, because Ozzy Osbourne was pissing off parents, Slipknot was pissing off parents. We don't really have there's no figure or figures that are pissing off the pearl clutchers this day and age, which I think there needs to be.
You look
which
at
is what
like the ghosts, the spirit boxes, you know what I mean?
Ghost,
kind of the goody.
Ghost is doing
goodies,
Ghost
I like
is
the
doing
no
the
phone
best
thing.
job of it.
Yeah.
I do like Ghost is doing the best job of it. The easiest way to piss people off is blasphemy.
Blasphemy, crosses, and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
And that's what I love about Ghost. I think Ghost is one of the bands whose blueprint we really pulled from. Not overtly musically, but the thing that I like about Ghost is that there is the element of theatricality and musical theaterness to their music, which I try to borrow from in Sinister. But Ghost has this mystique. Ghost has this lore. Ghost has this personality that and I wish that I wish that they were bigger to piss off more religious fundamentalists, and that's what I strive to drive Sinister to be. I want to piss off the parents. I want to piss off the fundamentalists. I want to piss off the pearl clutchers. I want to piss off the clergy.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a big part of what we the next record that we have and the next batch of songs is very aimed at that. One of our new songs, "Tell Me Father," that we have been playing for the last couple of months is written that's a whole can of worms that I'll get into after I see this tier list that you've got pulled up.
Hey,
So I'll get into
Yeah.
I'll get into "Tell Me Father" and pissing off the clergy after I see what's got here.
Yeah, you're good. Before we get off the subject, I figure we were talking about System. Let's hit it. One thing we're trying to continue doing here is we try to ask our guests what their favorite band is and what one they know most of the, if not all the material up and down. And I see Pate already put his thing in their chat. You're welcome to put your S tiers, A tiers, B tiers, everything in your tier this. We're tiering System of a Down albums today. I guess we'll start. I don't know if they're all just going to go to one place or not, but let's start with self-titled. Where and why? Like, let's not blast through these. Why hits, things, the reason that album meant something to you. I think we'll start with self-titled, right?
Self-titled. Let's see. What do we got here? We got S A B
C D. Obviously, there's no Fs in this. I don't think in this category for sure. So.
I mean, like I don't even think any of these. Like I don't think any of these can possibly be below a B. But you know, for the terms of like. You got. Well, I'm gonna say there's 5. I'm gonna say there's 5 tiers. I'm just gonna put the albums in order.
Yeah.
So no, like I'm just prefacing this by saying that no album is below a B in my eyes.
Got you. And you don't have to start with self-titled. You can go where you want if you want to like work your way through it.
I'll start.
Yeah.
I'll start with self-titled. Self-titled is number 2 for me.
It's gonna be an A tier. Okay.
Yeah, self-titled is going to be number 2 for me because this record just is like being hit with a fucking caveman club. There's such a pure animalistic ferocity to these songs. The very visceral lyrics, the chaotic nature of the way that the songs are written, the structure, and also just the weird elements to some of the songs. Like if you ever listen to Peephole, it sounds like you're at the fucking circus.
Right.
Like that kind of, it's got that weird, like creepy kind of like, you know, creepy clown music bent to it almost. So, you know, self-titled's just got this, like this very, very righteous aggression to it. This very primal scream to it. It's in your face. It's odd. It confuses you.
Yeah.
Sometimes the lyrics make no fucking sense, and sometimes the lyrics are very overtly political. Like you have, you have something like pluck, and then you got something like darts.
Yeah.
And there's hardly a middle ground between are these lyrics poignant or do these lyrics make no sense at all?
Like I was saying earlier, that ADHD effect a little bit. And some of them are very deep, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so I love that first album just because of how fucking hard-hitting and aggressive and raw it is. That's the word that I would use to raw.
Raw. I love that. Killer, man. What do you want to do next? Host or guest choice?
We'll go in release order, and it should be no surprise. Toxicity is number 1.
I'm gonna go S tier. Yeah, I think Toxicity is what.
Toxicity. Toxicity to me is one. It's my favorite album of all time. It is the reason, in essence, that I do what I do and that I am who I am. But if we're gonna talk sonically, Toxicity has this brilliant mix of aggression and poeticism, sort of like if self-titled is raw, then this is refined. This is that aggression and that poeticism at in a perfect synthesis.
This is Goku harnessing Ultra Instinct, right? No, I'm just
exactly.
So, excellent.
Exactly.
Killer.
I'm more of a Vegeta guy myself.
I feel you on that too. I got you.
But Toxicity is crisp but heavy, you know, and I think it can come down to a song like Chop Suey, where at the end of that song you have this beautiful mix of symphony and brutality, and I think that is what that encompasses the entire album to me. You've got this beautiful meeting of poetry and aggression, and that's Toxicity to me.
Hell yeah.
This transcendent kind of final chorus on Toxicity, where you hear a little bit of piano in it, but also Serge is screaming his fucking lungs out.
Yeah.
That album did shit to me. And then you got a song like Aerials where it switches from this cool flowing sort of refrain and then the heavy hitting verse, and then at the end of the song the previously mellow flowing chorus is reintroduced, heavier and harder. You get these beautiful arrangements on Toxicity, which is why it's my favorite.
Yeah, Ariel's ability to go from extreme to calm, it's just like painting a picture, man. It's amazing. So
I sang it at karaoke one time before, and I was pretty drunk, but I took a little audio recording of it. I took an audio recording of it, and then I listened back to the tape when I was sober, and then after I did the final chorus, you can hear someone in the crowd going, "That's impossible."
Sick. Oh, excellent. I love that. Where do we go in there? Is it Mesmerize was first, right? Or is it
Steal This Album?
Is it Steel next?
Yeah, Steel's next.
Steel's next.
Like I said, there is no album in System's discography below a B, but I think Steel is my least favorite.
Steel is the B,
which with Steel, you talk about that kind of ADHD.
Yeah.
And I think Steel is the perfect example of that. Steel is such an odd collection of songs, and it's got some of their weirdest arrangements and their weirdest lyrics.
Yeah.
I think it's such a stream of consciousness kind of album. Like if you listen to something like Pictures, the first half of the song and the last 30 seconds of the song are completely different. And then you look at something like Chicken Stew, where the lyrics are about pizza.
I was about to say, that was going to be a highlight of that record too, right?
The lyrics are about fucking pizza, but then,
So.
Then you got like, advertising causes me therapy. Like, oddly enough, it's like, well, there is something kind of poetic in that, I guess, but the rest of the song's about fucking pizza ingredients.
Yeah, totally.
Then you got Boom, which is a very, very political song. There's no subtlety to that. It's really in your face with the message. So I like that Steel is this kind of just ADHD spattering of songs. And I really love that record. It's a great record. All these are great records.
Yeah.
It's like choosing between your children.
Gershok X says, and then you got whatever the hell IEAIAIO.
That's my favorite song on the record. IEAIAIO is my favorite song on the record.
Yeah, I love that. I was gonna ask earlier, Squirrel, what did you think about his solo record? I remember it was on the radio for a minute. Can't you see the bodies burning? Yes, I'm left full of yearning. I really like that song.
His solo work.
It didn't seem like it popped off too hard though. It's what me and my brother always say.
Which it should have.
It's hard to leave the mothership. Branding is important, and it is hard to leave the brand. Not that he left, but you get what I'm saying. Leaving the mothership on a side mission. So
his solo stuff is some of the first music that I listened to. My first concert was him solo.
Yeah,
so I saw him solo.
Good. Yeah.
Empty Walls and Chop Suey were shown to me at the same time.
Okay, because Pate's in there saying that single was the only good one on the record. So
Sky is Over on that record. You had Unthinking Majority on that record. You had Beethoven's Cunt on that record.
For sure.
It's like I loved the reason why I love his solo stuff is that you can still you get some of that flavor that he had with System, but you get some of his own, his own personal flavor.
Yeah.
It shows how versatile of a musician that Serge is.
Yeah.
Totally. And that's why I love his solo stuff, is that it shows how far he can go in every which way. Because you got something like Elect the Dead as his first solo record, which is a lot more in the hard rock vein, a lot closer to System. But then you have something like Imperfect Harmonies, which is mostly orchestral rock.
Okay.
And then you have Harakiri after that, which kind of blends the two and has a lot of world
gonna
music
deep dive
and a lot
that.
of.
I'm gonna deep dive.
Yeah.
that. It's always
good
funny
stuff.
when we do these. I kind of like take in what the artist our guest is on, and probably this week, in the coming weeks into the next podcast, I'll deep dive and see if I can. I like to relate. You know what I mean? Always good to hear someone's opinions on stuff. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, killer. So I
All
guess we're jumping into
got
Mesmerize. next.
Mesmerize.
Yeah.
Mesmerize is the Mesmerize is, I would put it. I mean, for the sake of, these are all S records in my mind, but for the sake of argument here, I'm gonna have it be the second. The second.
We're gonna go
It's
A tier with that one. Okay.
Yeah, it is my fourth. It is my fourth favorite record.
Okay. Highlights and lowlights on that one.
Highlights on that one. I mean, obviously you got BYOB, you got Radio Video, and one of my favorite System songs of all time is Violent Pornography, which is the one song where every time I see System live, and I've seen them live like 5-6 times, every time I'm like, come on, man, just play Violent Pornography, just play Violent Pornography. And they haven't fucking played it. Yeah. But that song, you see more of Darren. You see more of Darren's involvement on this record, and you see this kind of more Darren's voice being more prominent in this record, as as you have sort of like the two leading vocals. It adds this mysticism to it. I can't explain it, but there's this more ethereal quality to something like Mesmerize, which I think is expanded upon in Hypnotize. But with a song like, and then you got stuff like Old School Hollywood, which is just fun. Old school Hollywood just feels like almost like swing in a way, a little bit. You see them getting kind of weird. You see them getting really weird with this record, and really weird with the sounds and the sort of that blend of Serge and Darren's voice. So I would. God, what else is on this? I mean, and then you got Cigaro, which is the song that opens up with "My cock is much bigger than yours," and it's really just hard to. I love it when they play that song live, because the way Darren always introduces it is like, this song is really fucking stupid. So half the song he's talking about how his dick is bigger, how his shit smells better, and then you have my cock is much bigger than yours, and then in the same song you have, we're the propagators of all genocide, burning through the world's resources, then we turn and hide.
Back to the ADHD
Brilliant.
thing, right? I mean,
Brilliant.
Exactly.
The dichotomy is brilliant.
I hit the button. I'm just gonna drop a Smash Brothers victory in there really quick. So. Hell yeah! All right, where are we putting Hypnotize on this thing then?
Hypnotize. We're putting above Mesmerize as the second
S tier.
Oh. No, because like I like self-titled more than Hypnotize, or do I? Shit, fuck. It changes.
So we're going a sub-tiering now. So Hypnotize is over Member. Okay, I got you. It's an A,
yes.
but it's after. Okay, I got you. I see what you're saying. It's after self-titled, but above, right? Yeah.
Right, not a 9.8.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Toxicity is 10.0.
Get it?
Yeah. It's like for the I mean, like, not a very exciting tier list, because I'd put them all as S tier if I could, but I gotta have some kind of diversity. But
and I appreciate that,
Yeah.
We're just talking about him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hypnotize, I feel, expands upon the weird mysticism of Mesmerize, and as well as the melody, the aggression, and the stream of consciousness are all. And it's weird how you could even separate them into two albums, because they wrote and recorded most of the songs around the same time. But I think Hypnotize hits a little harder with it.
Yeah.
It's got two of my favorite System songs of all time: Holy Mountains and Dreaming.
Nice. And
those songs both have this perfectly balanced dreamlike sections juxtaposed against this untempered aggression. And the bridge in Dreaming, like, is one of my favorite bits of any System of a Down song. I got to ask Darren about that part of the song one time, and I said, "Hey man, the bridge in Dreaming, I got to know what that's about. What was, what headspace were you in?" He's like, "I was stoned," and he said, "I was stoned,
point, right?
He said, I was stoned, but it's a feeling. It wasn't about anything in particular. It's a headspace that I was in."
Yeah.
And so I liked that, because there are different points in my life where, usually in relation to, relationships or lovers that I've had where, things ended tumultuously. She lost her mind. Someone kicked her into the back of the line. She lost her head. When they called and they said that they thought he was dead. Dreaming, someone kicked me out of my mind. I hate these thoughts I can't deny was always something that stuck with me.
Okay.
And I've had that thought a lot. And I wanted to know what it was about for Darren. And when he said it was about nothing specific, it was just a feeling. It's sort of, I liked it even more, because for me, at different times, I had gone back to that, that song, and specifically that section of, this is just a feeling. This song, this someone kicked me out of my mind. I hate these thoughts I can't deny. It's a feeling. It's that indescribable melancholy condensed into a couple of bars of song.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that song. That's why I think that song is so powerful. And then you have Holy Mountains. Yeah. Which top 10 System song of all time, maybe even top 5. This very clear poetic elucidation of the Armenian genocide. But again, it's got this kind of like this mystic and poetic feel to it. That chanting that Serge does, that fucking every time. And then when you get to the final, it's weird. That song's hard to structure into like verse, chorus, whatever. But that build up when they go, "They've all returned, resting on a mountainside," when it gets fast and aggressive and poetic, just like not poetic. What am I saying? Just theatric.
I'm feeling it. Yeah.
Theatric.
Yeah.
It's a condensation of theatricality, melody, aggression, anger. This very visceral anger you can feel in that song.
Yeah.
And then you've got a vicinity of obscenity, which is saying, "Beat the meat, treat the feet, terracotta pie." More of that
I
nonsense.
saw Pate was singing terracotta pie in there. I love that.
I didn't fucking know what that shit was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was just like, oh, it really just means fucking, like, pie, man. I thought there was some meaning to it. No, when I grew up, I was like, no, I think he's just talking about fucking pie, that, like, sculpture, like clay pies.
Yeah. X is coming in here from Gershok saying that the image we created ultimately was a dick on here. I mean, I guess if our mind's in the gutter that much, 4 squares in that, I don't know. I guess so.
The Minecraft dick, I guess.
Yeah, super blocky there.
Did we make a dick?
I don't know. I would like to know what. Never mind. We'll stop there. Love you, X.
If you had 2 Steel this albums on, maybe it might look more like a dick.
Oh, if you have 2 Steel.
What you have is what you do is that you put you put another toxicity under self-titled, and then you have a bunch of steals shooting out of Mesmerize and Hypnotize, and that's
super cool, man.
So you have the hairy balls in Toxicity because it's the Hollywood Hills, and then you have the Steal This Album Cum Droplets.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
We need like the hand like down here, right? Just give it a little. No.
Yeah, exactly. Stroking the shaft, exactly.
All is
TikTok
good, man. All is good. Oh, I've gotten. They've given us 31 views. Oh, shit, it's coming in here. Sir Django Fett's actually holding it down over there. What's up, Lovebug? How are you over on the TikToky world? I've seen Dino over there a lot too. I see you showing some love over there, buddy. TikTok's doing all right today. We'll leave them alone. Cool, man.
Fett, best bounty hunter in the galaxy.
Sir Django Fett, yeah, good buddy of mine. Used to work with me and Nick. Excellent.
Always good to be friends with a bounty hunter.
Oh yeah, never know.
Perks.
Right? But yeah, as we're getting close to the end of the stream here, we've had an excellent time, man. It's good to get to know the inside of the mind of Nathan that much more. You're a multi-tiered guy, bro, and every time we ever have kicked it, always have good chats and good conversations. I guess as we kind of start wrapping here, what's obviously the next battle for Vakken is where you guys are setting your eyes for the prize right now. But you talked a little bit about helping Gershok out. What else is up for you guys right now? Anything you want to share? Throw out there. Let anyone know about.
Yeah, we've got album 2 brewing. We're gonna start it out with a couple of singles, and then you release the singles over time, and then have it be a 3-song EP, because we got 3 songs that are they're ready. They're done. They're done. We're ready to record those.
Cool.
And we're writing the rest of the album, and we've been playing those songs at the last couple of shows. We'll be playing with Enforcer next month at the Whiskey.
Nice.
Killer.
So yeah, we got the Vakken battles. We got Enforcer at the Whiskey with our boys in Saber. But the next album
Saber's killer too.
Saber rules.
Saber's killer, man.
Fuck
Those
yeah,
guys
those
are
guys
awesome.
are fun. Super fun
But
band.
we got the next album coming out, which the next 3 songs, we've got songs called Fawn, which I wrote about Saltburn, and that's another song where it's just like I wrote it a little bit about a movie I saw, and then there's a little bit of personal stuff in there.
Oh, cool.
Then we got The Plague Nocturnal, which I just wrote about Nosferatu.
Nice, excellent. I gotta see the movie. I think it's my brother. I have his Peacock
Amazing.
account. I gotta watch
It's
that.
on Peacock now. Go
I
check
saw
it out.
he got it halfway through and he quit. I'm on his account, so I'm lurking on it.
No, I actually streamed it when it was still in theaters.
Oh, you did tell me that.
I may have this website.
Fucking, I've got like a
You got
little
some
like
film reel of it.
Whoa.
Yeah,
film reel of it.
cool.
And
That's
then
really
the song that we've been playing, the first single that we're gonna drop is a song called "Tell Me Father," and that is probably one of my favorite songs that I've written. So I grew up Jewish, and the weird thing about growing up Jewish is that it's an ethno religion, because it's a culture and it's a religion. And growing up, I kind of always had this difficulty reconciling, because I wasn't religious. I didn't believe in God. My family was observant but not religious about it.
Okay.
But as I grew up, I sort of walked away from Judaism because I had difficulty reconciling the culture with the religion, and obviously I didn't believe in God, so I had trouble sort of being a part of that.
No.
When I went to college, my friend told me to come to Shabbat, and they promised free food and pretty Jewish girls, so obviously I went.
About it, huh?
And I started to feel a little more connected to Judaism and my culture. I started to be like, okay, well, maybe I can have a relationship with it.
Yeah.
But it almost circled all the way back around to where I started, because when I started to come to more of the events, and like I kept going for pretty Jewish girls and free food.
Sounds like good reasons.
Yeah. And but I started to see more of the mind control mechanism at work. I started to see that a lot of these young people my age, would hang on to every word that the rabbi would say, and in a way that I felt was more harmful than good, because I saw a lot of them sort of lose themselves, sort of become a part of this industrial mechanism of churning out orthodoxy, or going to yeshiva, getting married, having kids.
Yeah.
And when I went to when I went to Israel for a wedding, everything that every rabbi, or that would, like, every rabbi would always just be like, get back, come back, come back, get married, have kids, come back, get married, have kids. And I just thought, another thing that bothered me a lot is that the rabbi's wife at the community that I was a part of, when we went through COVID, she said, "Oh, we've been going through a lot of stuff, but it's Hashem's plan." And I just thought, how fucking dare you?
Right.
People lost their lives. I lost myself.
Yeah.
People died. I became a fucking pot addict because there was nothing to do but stay in my house and smoke weed every day. I lost myself. I went insane because I lost my livelihood. I couldn't perform. I couldn't do all. My whole final term of college was null and void. Like, how dare you try to posit that this is some kind of divine plan? And then also just seeing my friends succumb to this groupthink and lose their individuality. People that I respected, people that I loved, really just became mouthpieces for this, for this antiquated religious dogma.
Yeah.
And I started to see that, and I started to, once I got away from it, like on the train to Jerusalem, I wrote "Tell Me, Father," because I wrote from my perspective.
Yeah.
The song is written from the perspective of someone seeking guidance from a holy man.
Yeah.
And though it's informed by my experience, walking away from Judaism, I wrote the lyrics to be about walking away from any religion.
Gotcha.
And that
Sure.
it's not anti-Judaism. It's anti-religious. It's anti-theocratic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's anti this notion of surrendering your control and your understanding of the universe to what someone else says.
Yeah,
Tell
like
me,
you were
Father.
saying earlier, you're like a martyr to a whole another. Your whole life is a martyr to some other cause, right? Which, like, I definitely respect those that are religious and whatnot, what people need to get through their day, and people that what they believe, respect all of that. I don't believe myself, but when someone is just another physical extension of that of which they believe, it's like, man, you got blessed this one life, enjoy it at the same time too. You know what I mean? I feel. I don't know.
To me, there's a difference between faith and religion.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with people's faith. Whatever gives someone, whatever gives someone comfort in their life,
Yeah.
as long as they're not hurting anyone else
Yeah.
with it. And this includes their kids.
Right.
And I think that there's nothing more disgusting than pushing your faith on your kids.
Yeah.
Any idea of this institution, the institutions of faith, the institutions of religion that solely exist to control,
Yeah.
That's what a lot of it was about to me, and that's what a lot of what I saw was this idea of controlling people.
Yeah.
And so when I wrote the lyrics to "Tell Me, Father," it's from the perspective of someone seeking guidance, but as a means of, but I wrote it like sort of in a mocking way, where it's like, this is what it sounds when you're asking someone else to guide you through life. This is how it sounds like to me. Speak sacred nothings to me. Tell me your greatest story.
Yeah.
Teach me the way to live. Teach me to take and never to give. Tell me, Father, what did he create? Tell me, Father, will he teach me how to hate? Stuff like that, where it's and when we play that song, I dress like a holy man. I have
You have a little ghost thing going on there, huh? That's cool.
Bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I have my, my grandfather's tallis, which is this Jewish prayer scarf, and then a yarmulke, but like, it's not exclusive to Judaism, because like popes and or priests, they wear like the little hat thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So I wear that when I wear that when when we play that song as kind of like an anti-sermon. Don't let yourself be guided by holy men. Don't let people tell you that they know that their understanding of the universe is better than yours, and as such you should listen to them and follow what they have to say. I am hoping to piss off the clergy with that song. I am hoping to speak to anyone who has any kind of religious trauma, anyone that feels that they grew up in a culture or a community where they were manipulated by religious figures, because a lot of kids struggle with who they are because of the way that faith-based communities tell them the way you feel is unnatural, the way you feel is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Desire, sin, all these carnal human elements that are so innate to us. That's what the next record's about.
Killer, man.
Tell Me, Father is kind of Tell Me, Father is the synthesis of that.
I'm stoked for it, man. Like I said, everybody in the chat, everyone that listens to this after the fact on the podcast network, or clips we make of this, or on the after fact for the videos, or on YouTube, definitely support an excellent up and coming band out of LA, Knox Sinister. Nathan, it's been an absolute pleasure today, man. It's been kicking that ass.
Likewise, fellas.
Yeah.
This has been great. Thank you for having me here.
You didn't have to come to the Bay. We didn't have to go to LA, and we still got to hang out.
Right.
Yeah, this is like
Cool. Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Anytime, call and I'll be there. I work remotely. My time is so flexible.
Yeah.
I'm super down.
Killer, brother. Much love and a half, man. We typically end the podcast. I don't know if you know how Twitch works. We raid another channel. We throw all of our viewers into their channel. Hopefully, they do it back one day or another. Pate, you got anybody up on the reel to raid? Sick Drummer Magazine? Sick Drummer Magazine? Is that what you're saying?
Tell them Sick News was part of this, and
raid like a a theocratic fundamentalist stream. I don't know if papists use Twitch.
I'll punch it.
Tell them Nox Sinister sent you.
Nox, yeah, everyone get in there. Say that, hey, the Hatriot Riot Squad with Nox Sinister's coming through. We're gonna be
The
going
Sinister Army, the
Yeah.
Hatriot Riot Squad, and the Sinister Army.
We've joined forces for this raid against the enemy. So only join forces. That's what we do, guys. Excellent. So much love and a half. Thank you again, Nathan, from the bottom of my heart for coming in today, hanging out. I had a blast.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone on the IG, everyone on the Talk Tickers, everybody on Facebook. So much love and a half. Let's go raid Sick Drummer Magazine. Everyone throw some horns. Let them know that Hatriot and Nox Sinister sent you. Again, if you guys haven't, any platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp, go follow Nox Sinister's YouTube channel. Guys, spin it, respect it, kick it, and you know what I mean? Support live heavy music. The way that, he comes out and does the theatricals and stuff, like we were saying, is no one's going out here to get the pearl clutchers clutching pearls and putting on that next level of a show, man. It's not backdropping rock. You got to frickin' put a show on, right? So I appreciate
Violent
the
musical
craft.
theater.
Yeah,
That's what we call it.
musical theater,
Right.
guys. All right, much love and a half, everybody. Have a good rest of your evening. Have a good rest of your week. Be safe. Tomorrow's Friday. If you guys need anything from us on Instagram, on Discord, and until then, we'll catch you guys very, very soon. See ya.
Stay sinister.
Later.